Hanover, 24th of January 2017, and we're here to print Two Blue Buckets, the Director's Cut 2017 edition.
Yeah.
Peter, describe the journey from the first edition to where we are today here in Hanover.
Well, in 1988 I published the first edition of Two Blue Buckets, which was a book of colour photographs, a survey of what I've been doing in the previous few years, making pictures for galleries, and it won a prize which made the book quite well known, and the work went out into the world, and quite a few things began to happen as a consequence of that. And 30 years is quite a long time. Much has happened during the 30 years, of course, and I've made work consistently over that period. And I think a couple of years back I began to think that, especially like working with a lot of new students and feeling that there were quite a lot of people who maybe were being born around the time of the publication of the first edition who hadn't heard of it and couldn't, in some respects, be expected to know about it. And I thought, well, maybe it's a good idea to try to reissue the book, but with missing pictures from the original. Maybe, but I decided to invite Jerry Badger, a very well-known writer, to write a new essay to introduce the work to a new audience. And I had a conversation with David Campany, who asked me some very interesting questions. So the transcript of that is in the back of the new book. And with 19, I think it's 19 missing photographs from the original. So it's a great pleasure to be here in Hanover with Hannes Wanderer at Pepperoni Books printing the new version.
30 years is quite a long time.
It is.
And on press we've been looking at the images in a slightly different way because it's a new edit.
Yeah.
Describe some of the differences, especially with colour.
Well, it's very interesting comparing the images in the first edition of Two Blue Buckets with the images coming off the machine, the printing machine here, because obviously for all this time I've lived with the first edition, as have other people, and when I compare those images, printed images, with the new images coming out here now over the last day or two, one can see that the early images actually lack a kind of subtlety. Lots of them look a little bit garish, slightly over intense. I mean, not too bad really for 30 years, but at the same time the new images we're doing on press are really, really rather beautiful. Very subtle, super sharp, but not in a way which takes something away from the images. And I have to say that I'm very excited about the way the new book's going to look.
It's quite interesting that you're here in Hanover printing the second edition, because you have a kind of history with Hanover.
That's true. In fact, the last time, it's a perfect coincidence in a way, because the last time I was in Hanover was 88, and I'd driven here with Paul Graham, as Thomas Wesky had invited us both to have solo shows side by side at the Sprengel Museum, where Thomas Wesky was the curator of photography. So I was showing pictures from Two Blue Buckets in Hanover 30 years ago, 29 years ago, and now I'm back in Hanover making a new edition of Two Blue Buckets, and it feels just perfect.